What's up, Canes fans? Peter Ariz here with CanesInsight.com, bringing you today's edition of Canes Insight Daily, powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. We have a huge show lined up for you today. A very special guest is going to be joining us, Vernell Brown, one of the top players, one of the top prospects in the country, wide receiver out of the Orlando Jones High School. I was going to say the Orlando area, but yes, Orlando area, Jones High School. And again, he joined the show today, previews his decision coming up on Sunday, the 21st. And of course, he has a who's who of finalists, the big three in the state of Florida, Florida State, and Miami, and then Ohio State coming in there as one of the top four teams as well. Came away very impressed with this young man, has handled the recruiting process the right way for sure, and explains kind of why each of these schools are there in his top four. In my interview with him, talks a little bit as well about Darion Coleman, recent Hurricanes commitment at the quarterback position for the 2026 class. He's a big fan of his and thinks he has a bright future for sure. So coming up next year on the Canes Insight Daily podcast, Vernell Brown joins the show. All right, Canes fans and college football fans across the country, very excited to be joined right now by one of the top recruits in the entire country, Vernell Trey Brown, wide receiver prospect out of Orlando Jones High School. Vernell, how you doing, man? I appreciate you taking the time. I know it's a very, very busy time for you.
I'm good, man. Appreciate you having me. It's good to be on here.
So, Vernell, obviously, big decision here coming up for you. Sunday night, right, the 21st here. I don't know if it's nighttime, but Sunday the 21st here, you're going to be making your announcement here as we pull up. You see you got the Hayes Fawcett edit going. So, you know you're big time. You know you're legit. You got Hayes Fawcett edit here. And we see your finalists here, Ohio State, Florida, and Miami. Just talk to us about your emotions as you head into, decision day and just how the whole recruitment process as a whole has treated you.
I mean, I think the whole recruiting process has been a blessing. There's people that would die to be in this position, and here I am getting ready to commit to a school. I'm fortunate enough to, be able to pick where I want to go and not have to go to a certain school. So, I mean, I definitely think it's a blessing. As far as the decision, man, I'm ready for Sunday. Ready to announce. Still in the process of figuring it out, so I haven't really, picked a school yet. But yeah, man, I'm ready for it.
So where can fans see your announcement? Are you going to be doing like a live stream somewhere so everyone who's watching this right now knows where to tune in on Sunday?
So yeah, it'll be a live stream on On3 with Josh Newberg. So we'll be live.
Right.
And I can say for those that tune in, they'll be in for a little bit of a treat. I'm not doing the usual hat thing where you have the hats on the table and you play around with them. It'll be a video, so
okay,
definitely something different.
Got it. So talk to me about, because you said it, you have the pick of whoever you want to go to pretty much in the country, right? So what's been like the toughest part of the process in terms of sitting down and saying, man, I can go wherever I want to, but I have to nail it down at some point and really narrow it down to my realistic contenders here. So what's that process been like? And how have you kind of sat down and said, all right, these are my pros and my cons? Like, walk us through how that process has gone for you.
I mean, I think being us and me and other people, being the 15 to 17-year-old kids that we are, I think it's kind of easy for us to be persuaded. And, there are schools that can persuade you, but at the end of the day, they may not be realistic. So I think that's been the biggest thing. Like, you go on a visit, like, oh, this is a really good visit, but I think having my dad, who's been on both sides, having that resource, has definitely been helpful and a blessing that he was able to keep me focused and kind of keep the main things.
Let's get into some of these schools a little bit here. We'll start with Miami. Of course, this is a Canes podcast, but it seems like over time, Miami has really, not only kept themselves in this conversation, but it seems like, from what I understand, your relationship with the staff over there has really grown over time. talk about your back and forth with Coach Beard and the relationship you've built with him and the staff over there at Miami.
I mean, I would say Coach Beard is probably the staff member that I'm closest to. He's a really good relationship. He's a large part of why Miami's in the conversation and a real contender today. So give him props, kudos to him. Really great guy. One of my favorite coaches. But I can't say, just all of the staff members. Just throughout my time there, I've gotten a chance to get to know each and every last one of them, and they're all really good people, really genuine people as well.
So we got your huddle tape playing here. It's a 14-minute highlight, man. I mean, sheesh, that's a career highlight for most dudes, and this was just your junior season alone here. So let's get into your abilities on the field a little bit, man. I mean, obviously you play a little bit of both sides of the ball, but receiver most likely what you're going to be playing here at the next level. Who do you kind of watch at the next level? I don't want to say who do you model your game after, but like who are some receivers that you really try to pick certain things and watch their tape and try to take from?
I mean, honestly, a bunch of them. I'm a firm believer in kind of see everything and take a little bit from everyone. So, different guys like Tyreek Hill, his play speed. You got Zay Flowers and Tank Dell. You know how dynamic they are with the ball in their hands, their route running, stuff like that. You got Justin Jefferson, just his fluentness, how he plays the game, and his swag too. I like that, which they all have swag. So, and then Devontae Adams, he's untouchable at the line. So, definitely get some things from him as well, and others. Those are just the key ones.
Definitely. I know you mentioned Tank Dell, Zay Flowers, some Florida boys right there. You could just see it in your game, man. So I mean, talk about playing here in the state of Florida, and you play also on the 7-on-7 circuit and all that. But to you, how important is it that you get kind of that iron sharpening iron, playing the competition that you have here in the state?
I mean, I think personally, I feel like there's no football like Florida football. And just growing up in Florida, playing in Florida, and I've been fortunate enough to kind of play football against people from North Florida, Central, and South Florida. So I've been through everywhere in Florida. So I mean, just kind of that dog mentality. It really puts the dog mentality in. Competing. Obviously, you're gonna win, you're gonna lose. So learning how to lose, and I think just the stages that come with playing football in Florida, especially big time football, being at Jones, the stage it puts you on. I think it kind of prepares you for the next level because as far as high school, the stage doesn't get any bigger. So I mean, you get used to playing in those big games, uh, all the outside noise, and then I think you learn how to handle pressure really well, and I think that's always been a strength of mine, my ability to handle pressure and perform, and when the game's on the line. So I definitely think growing up in Florida and playing in Florida and being around that competitive environment all my life has definitely helped.
And listen, 3 or 4 finalists now, obviously state of Florida schools. Let's talk a little bit about some of these other schools. We talked about Miami a little bit, but Florida obviously have your family ties there, and they've been on you very hard from an early part of the process. Florida State, I know Coach Dugans has been your recruiter over there. So talk about these other 2 in-state schools, each of them, real quick, and kind of what they bring to the table in terms of your recruitment.
I mean, Florida, they're a pretty good program. I think they're a really good program, really good school. And then being from Gainesville kind of adds a little bit more to it, but it doesn't really matter. But I mean, yeah, Florida's a really good program. Then go up north to Tallahassee. Tallahassee's a really good program. They were on me super early. They were actually my second offer. So and then just building that relationship with that staff, getting to know those guys, and so yeah, 2 really good programs.
And then Ohio State rounding out your finalists here have had a ton of success at the receiver position as of late. So talk about them and kind of what has put them in your final 4 here.
I mean, I think when it comes to proven development at the receiver position and the put out, I think and maybe you would second this. There's no school like Ohio State when it comes to the receiver position, and they're putting out, like, what is it, 5 draft picks over the last 5 years, first rounders.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that speaks for itself. Ohio State's a really good program, and Columbus is a really good place to be, from a football college standpoint and off the field as well. The 40-year decision. So I definitely that's why Ohio State's in the conversation. They're a really good program both on and off the field.
Vernell, one thing that I'm, kind of getting to know here by doing this interview is it seems like you've taken a very mature approach to the recruiting process. Obviously, NIL is a part of recruiting these days and all that. But who do you credit around you in kind of helping you approach this with understanding? Look, it's not just a decision for the next couple years, but there's real implications to my future in this decision.
My dad, him working at Florida, being on both sides of it, from being on the recruiting side to having a son going through recruiting, he kind of was able to guide me and keep my head level, keep me focused on the main things in each school. I think, and then him like instilling that if your lifespan is this, football is this much of it. So just making sure that what you do while you're there and you build the connections and meet the right people, and set yourself up for the rest of your life when football is over, because at some point it will end. So definitely will give the credit to my dad and my family. And then, there's other people that that are also very knowledgeable as well. And just through talking to them, they all kind of reiterate what my dad's been telling me all along. So I'll credit to him for that.
I had to ask you about your quarterback at Jones. Obviously, us being a Canes website, Darian Coleman, man, we're hearing a lot of really good things. I got to talk to a couple people about him recently, and everyone, the arm talent is noticeable, right? We see he can make all the throws, but
absolutely.
Talk about him as a leader coming in as kind of a younger guy last year, and now having an opportunity. Still being a young guy, really, with a couple years ahead of him here in high school, because he made an early commitment with a couple years left to play. But
right.
Just talk about him, from when he took over and the development and growth you've seen with him.
I mean, even since I've known Darian, which I've met him a year and a few months ago. So, I mean, just his progression, as a leader and as a player, going from being immature, young, to the more mature leader that he is today. He's a really good quarterback, really good person, really good leader on that team. So he's definitely grown and developed monumentally over this past year since I've known him. So definitely a really great guy, and I think Miami has definitely got the right one with that quarterback.
Right. Now, and with Miami, you mentioned your relationship with Coach Beard. What do you see kind of in terms of the direction the program's headed under Coach Cristobal right now?
I mean, I feel like Miami's kind of right at that brink. They've been trending upwards for a few years. Weren't able to kind of put it all together, but I feel like they're right there. So hopefully this season they'll be able to get over that hump, and once they're over it, boy, look out.
Yeah. Couple more things before I let you go here, Vernell. Just getting to know you a little bit off the field. Outside of football, what would you say your interests are? And I mean, when your football career is over with, do you see yourself staying around the game in some capacity? Do you have another profession or career maybe that you're interested in looking into? Just talk to the fans a little bit about who you are off the field.
I mean, I don't really do much. Football takes up so much time, so I like playing the game. I've actually played a little bit of NCAA since it came out.
I was gonna ask you, man. We gotta get to that in a second, but go ahead.
But I think outside of football, I'm a big learner. So whether it's different things, and typically I learn more about different things in life, like real estate, properties, taxes, and finance, stock market, and stuff like that. Just learning different things now, so when I do get that capital, I know what to do and to set myself up and my family up. So I would say that's the biggest thing. I'm a really down to earth person, really cool guy. Like to have fun. So yeah, man, that's how I would describe me in a nutshell.
You having fun on that NCAA? What are your early impressions of the game, man?
It's crazy realistic. Like just the missed tackles and everything,
You
like from
can't the
every
hit stick in
aspect.
the open field, man. The hit stick in the open field, it's like whiffing every time unless
Yeah,
you get it right.
which realistically, that's how it is.
Right,
So
right,
yeah.
right. Did you when you were growing up? I mean, the last time the game came out was in obviously 2014.
hmm
So did you get a chance to play the old game, or is this just like a whole new thing for you?
So I still had my PlayStation. I still have it to this day. But I would say maybe 2 to 3 years ago, I was really playing NCAA 14.
Yeah.
To the point where I didn't even play my PS4. I was just playing that. So when it first came out, I didn't really play it that much, but I have
Right,
played it
right, right.
and was definitely looking forward to it coming back
Yeah,
out.
you had to update those rosters every
Yeah,
year. Yeah, listen, I know the
yeah,
struggle,
man.
man. It's surreal playing it now, man. It's crazy. It's crazy, but
I can't wait to be in it.
you'll be in it. I was about to say you'll be in it next year. Hopefully, they give you that joystick, that joystick trait and all
Yes,
these other
sir.
traits, man. But Vernell Brown, man, it's been awesome getting to know you a little bit. Again, whether you're Canes fan, Ohio State fan, Florida State, Florida, this is a guy who has treated the process with a ton of respect. Hasn't You know how it is, man. A lot of recruits these days like to take fan bases one way or another, and obviously it seems like you've done things the right way, and appreciate you taking your time here with us on the Canes Insight podcast. And best of luck to you moving forward, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
This an insight to the Canes, and you know we ain't playing no games. Joaquin said dominate, so that's what we do. Home of the legends and 7th floor crew. Down in Miami where hurricanes brew. You here for the rumors, we bring you the news. Cause it's all about the you. And nobody do it like Canes Insight. 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 It's Canes Insight.